Alrighty, guys, welcome to Mission Minded. This may be a little bit different from what you guys are used to hearing me. Usually I'm on Monday and Wednesday from 10 to, from 10 to 11. But today I'm just popping in to talk to you guys really quickly, and we've got the same old show, but backwards. So today we're working from our student spotlight, then to culture chat, and then to our news. So it's like backwards day here on Mission Minded. So our guest today is...
My name is Andrea Lee, and I'm a freshman here at Southeastern.
Whoop, whoop. So this is exciting, too, because she's a freshman, and guys, she's got a pretty cool record of traveling. So that's really inspirational, so people know, hey, you can start whenever, wherever, doesn't matter. So give us a little bit more information about where you're from, and then we'll dive into the nitty-gritty of mission trips and traveling.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually from Virginia Beach, which is actually a city in itself. Everyone thinks it's just a beach, but the beaches aren't even called Virginia Beach, so it's really funny. But yeah, I grew up there. I'm from a military family, but we never moved around, which was really weird.
Wow.
But yeah, I love it down there.
Awesome.
Or up there.
Up there, right? Virginia Beach. I love that you said that. That's a fun, like, I can see a lot of people thinking, oh yeah, beach.
Yeah.
Beach. Well, speaking of beaches, we're right around the corner from spring break for a Southeastern student, so that's super exciting. So Clearwater Beach, anybody? So what are some trips you have gone on, and then what is the trip that you're preparing for this year?
Yeah. I have actually been on 3 foreign mission trips in the past. I've been to Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Nicaragua, and 2 of those are medical trips. The one I'm actually going on in the summer, right after school lets out, we are going to Portugal, and I am one of the assistant team leaders for that trip.
Wow, that's exciting. So as a freshman, you're already like diving right in.
Yeah.
Awesome. But you have a lot of the experience as well, especially being on all of those trips before you even got into college.
Oh, yeah.
What process did you go through? Like, were the trips through a church, or were they through your school, or how did you know about the trips while you were in high school, just in case we have people who aren't in college yet looking for trips to go on?
Yeah, it was actually a really cool story. I actually really felt God like leading me towards missions in probably, I think it was 8th grade, like really early on, yeah. And I was just like, oh, I really want to go on a trip. And one of my mom's friends found this group called Lend a Hand Missions Team. Okay. And they're based out of Virginia Beach. And they were going to El Salvador. And they were like, it's just like an adult's trip, whatever. But I like begged my mom's friend to like talk to them and see if they could like just bring me along. And they met me, and they were like, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not if her mom's coming. So my mom actually went on the trip with me. She was a translator because she speaks Spanish.
Awesome.
So we found that, and I've actually gone on all of our trips with them. So they go all over Central America.
Cool. So they were kind of like a company, like based kind of on their own. That's really interesting. Yeah. I've never thought to look into there. I usually you think mission trips, okay, a church. But it's cool that there's like nonprofit kind of things out there going on. So what was your last mission trip that you went on? And then kind of talk about like the medical experience, because we haven't had somebody on the show who's been on a medical mission trip. So this is new for us.
Yeah. The last trip I went on was a medical trip. It was to Nicaragua. And it was really cool because we went to this little city called Quilili. And it was just right in the center of the poverty area. We were showering out of buckets. We were just, sleeping without air conditioning, which isn't like the biggest deal, but it was right there. And there were like thunderstorms. So like for a lot of times we didn't have electricity. We were roughing it, but it was so awesome. And we would go to a different place each day and kind of set up like a little clinic. We had some nurses. We worked with some doctors there. And we just really... We got to have the community come in, and they got free medical attention, and they got to see the dentists and the doctors, and afterwards they would go get their medicine, and they would go to a prayer session. So they would be able to just talk if there was anything going on in their lives, get some prayer, also get the opportunity to hear the message of God. So
awesome. So what's your major then?
I'm actually a nursing major.
There we go. So it all makes sense. How cool is that? Did these missions trips help like affect what you wanted to major in or mold where you wanted to?
It really did. I always swore that I would never go into the medical field just because
no way.
I couldn't handle it. It was so much. But then after going on these trips, the last trip I went on, I kind of was like a little gopher. I would go wherever I needed to be. Whoever needed me, I would go there and help them out. And there was a day when I went to the nursing station and helped them and took the patients from there to go sit down and wait for the doctor. And I got to see how the nurses like interacted with the people and how they really got the most like face time with the patients. That's
true, yeah.
And it was just such an awesome opportunity to see that, and it was really something that I wanted to do. So
how cool is that to find at such a young age?
Yeah,
too? That's amazing. Yeah. So, what were some of your biggest culture shocks while in countries like Nicaragua and then any of the other countries that you visited prior?
Well, actually, what's really funny is the culture shock for me, it wasn't as big because I do come from a Spanish family.
Okay.
My mom is from Puerto Rico, so going to Central America, I was kind of already used to like coming to a church and being kissed all over from the Spanish culture. But for me, it was, which sounds funny because I grew up AG, but seeing really the Holy Spirit like coming down on the people in these countries, because when you're there, it's so different from America, because here we go to church, we learn about God, but over in these poor countries, like they rely on God.
Right.
They rely on God so much more than we do here, and it's the kind of thing where every single time they come together, they're just like dancing up and down the aisles and just in worship and just in awe of God, and it's just amazing.
That is really amazing. Probably definitely a sight to see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there's so much more out there in the world too, man. I just wish everybody could just go on at least one missions trip in your life, just travel to somewhere else to see, because my biggest pet peeve is like, God did not just make the United States of America. There's so much more going on and
world.
Beautiful things as well. So this year, as you're saying, you're at the ATL to go to Portugal. So how is that process going? What are things that you guys are preparing for? How are you preparing? And then how are you planning to minister in Portugal?
Yeah. We are getting our team together, obviously. We have 6 girls going, which is really funny. It's just a group of girls. So it's really awesome. We're actually not going to the mainland of Portugal, but we're going to like some of the islands off the coast. It's called the Azore Islands. We'll be in San Miguel, which is an awesome, it's just, pictures are just gorgeous. We cannot wait to go and see it. But we're actually working with a missionary couple down there who they are starting a church, and they just need help like getting it up off the ground.
Okay.
So we're going to be helping them with children's ministry, worship, pretty much anything they need. And towards the end of the week, we're all going to be, or the 2 weeks we're there, we're building up to a big community outreach where we're going to bring the community in and just have like a big festival for them.
Oh, how fun.
And the missionaries down there are just talking us up. So they are so excited for us to come. They cannot wait. And we're so excited too.
I'm sure like that'll be a great experience too, just for your team, like to be a part of like molding and creating a church.
Yeah.
How exciting would that be? And then that's a little bit of a different feel too, being with kids. So it's not so much as medical this time around for you. And do you still have the same like excitement for it?
I do. I absolutely love working with kids. I actually work at a church in town.
Perfect.
With kids. So it's right up my alley. I absolutely love it.
Awesome. So we're going to wrap up our time here very shortly, but what is some advice that you could give to, especially being so young and have gone on so many trips already? What are some advice for people who want to get involved in missions trips, whether it be medical or just local, but what are some advice to really just get people going?
Yeah. I would definitely say don't let anything stop you. People always bring up money and how it's such a big deal, but if God really wants you to go on a trip like this, like he will provide for it. He's not going to just send you on some journey without like backing you up. He's going to provide. And then also just like, don't be afraid, because it's the same thing. You're going to a different country, but God is going to be right there with you. It might be right out of your comfort zone, but it's an amazing opportunity. I really, like you said before, I think everyone should go on at least one missions trip just to see the differences in different cultures.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. Again, we have Andrea here for Destination Spotlight, just talking about her past trips and future trips. So if you see her and her team promoting anytime outside SU, go donate.
Oh, yeah.
Help the team out. So we're actually going to head back into some music real quick before we follow up with our regular schedule. Well, our regular backwards schedule. So up next, we do have SU Worship with Grace Unfold.
Come on, we're going to keep praising Jesus tonight.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Mission Minded here on WSU 93.7 FM, your fire station. And again, this is Aria Woods with Mission Minded, kicking it backwards style. So if you're not familiar with how Mission Minded usually goes, I start off the hour with some world news, go into culture chat, and then talk with a guest at the end of the show. But today, if you weren't listening earlier, I actually started with my guest, Andrea, who has been on multiple medical mission trips, and she's actually going on a trip to Portugal this year. And now we're heading into probably my favorite time, it's my favorite time of my show, which is Culture Chat. I think it changes like every show. Sometimes it's the spotlight, but today it's Culture Chat. So as promised, Culture Chat, usually I talk about different cultures, different languages, how to learn different languages, bizarre customs, national holidays. But for the month of February, I decided to dedicate it all to Black history and just embracing that culture because it's American, it's American history, and me personally, it's part of my culture, so it's really cool. But it is sad because today is the last it's time for me to have it as my Culture Chat segment, but you never know, maybe I'll pop it in a little bit throughout the rest of the semester. So today I want to introduce you to my good old friend Jackie Robinson. Yeah, we're close, we're cool. So I've got just some nice facts about him, or some facts that I think a lot of people don't know, and then I always have videos, guys. I love listening to history.com. They always have such amazing videos put together. So I have a video that I'll let you guys listen to about Jackie Robinson. But first, if you don't know, my homeboy, Jackie, he was born January 31st in 1919, and his family was actually sharecroppers on a plantation in Cairo, Georgia, for 28 years. So that's pretty big. But he was able to accomplish so many amazing things, regardless of where he came from. He was able to overcome those things. So he's a pretty inspirational person. So if you don't know Jackie Robinson, it's time to get to know him. Some fun facts about him that I feel like a lot of people probably aren't aware of is that his older brother was a silver medalist at the Olympics. So his older brother was a Mac, and he was a star sprinter on the Pasadena Junior College track team. And despite his troubles with his heart condition, Mac Robinson later clinched a spot on the U.S. Olympic team and finished second to Jesse Owens in the 200-meter race at the 1936 Games in Berlin. That's pretty cool. So I think the athletic gene definitely runs in their family. So sorry for me, because my kids aren't going to have any athletic ability at all. Jackie Robinson accomplished athletic in several other sports. So of course everybody knows, he's the big basketball, but he was also an all-around athlete during college at UCLA. He became the first student to letter in 4 different sports in a single session. In addition to baseball, he also shined in basketball as a guard and forward, in football as a quarterback, running back and safety, and in track and field as a long jumper. Robinson also moonlighted as a tennis player. Guys, this guy is a top notch. You always have that one friend who's really good at something, but he's like that one friend that's really good at everything. Jackie Robinson was also a good friend of boxer Joe Louis during his time in the Army. Robinson didn't play baseball between age 21 and 26. So like any great athlete of his era, they have their prime baseball years, but his was interrupted by World War II. So that's how he kind of met Joe Louis while he was in the Army. So pretty awesome to know that he was able to take a break but still get back into it and be just as amazing as he's always been. Some Brooklyn Dodger players signed a petition against Robinson joining the team. So he faced near constant racial abuse after entering the minors as a baseball first black player. Many teams canceled exhibition games to prevent him from playing, and he was regularly subjected to jeers from fans and fellow players alike. Come on, that's got to be rough. Imagine you're, on this team, this huge team, and it's like nobody likes you. People are against you. People are canceling games just so you can't play. That's got to be tough. But after hitting a double and later scoring, Robinson responded, "I guess my cousin's pretty happy now," because a rival player threw a black cat on the field and shined, "Hey, Jackie, there's your cousin." Come on, guys. This is rough stuff. And I guess it's more sad because things still happen like this today. Robinson was known for his skill at bunting. So that's a technique, is remembered as electrifying base runner. He stole home base 19 times during his center, but his game also had a less flashy style. Always a team player, he regularly laid down blunts and sacrificed hits to allow his teammates to advance on bases and score. He's a good team player. Come on. He testified before House Un-American Activist Committee in summer of 1949. He was unexpectedly called to speak to the board. And then the FBI have also investigated after Robinson received death threats. I'm sure he received a lot, but I guess he also started to receive threats for his family in 1951, and so the danger seemed to have grown, and so the FBI did get involved at that point, which is encouraging to know that people weren't just going to stand by and let things like this happen. He starred in a Hollywood movie based on his life. That's pretty awesome. He campaigned for Richard Nixon during the 1960 presidential election, and he continued to break down racial barriers after leaving baseball. So up next, we have a little bit more about Jackie Robinson. So you guys continue to drive and enjoy.
Took the field for the Brooklyn Dodgers on opening day, April 15th, 1947. He forever changed the face of Major League Baseball. Robinson was the first African American to play in the majors in the 20th century, shattering the so-called color barrier, a 50-year-old tradition of segregation. Initially shunned by fans and even his own teammates, the infielder focused instead on being the best in the game. Robinson's raw talent soon gave Dodger fans reason to look beyond his skin color. By the end of his first season, he had racked up 12 home runs and a league-leading 29 steals, and took home the league's Rookie of the Year award. In 1949, he was named the National League's most valuable player with a batting average of .342. Despite his all-star status, life for Jackie Robinson was far from easy. On the road, he was forced to stay in separate hotels. And he had agreed in his contract to turn the other cheek when faced with racial insults and threats of physical violence. Robinson kept his word and his dignity. In the decade he was with the Dodgers, the team played in 6 World Series, finally winning the championship in 1955.
And it's all over but the shouting and the tumult. The Dodgers win it 2-0 and win their first World Series. And this day will live long in the memory of Brooklyn, USA. When
Robinson retired from baseball in 1956, he became an outspoken champion of civil rights. Jackie Robinson wrote, "The right of every American to first-class citizenship is the most important issue of our time." Robinson's success had opened the floodgates for fellow African Americans. Within the first 5 years of his career, another 150 black baseball players had been signed to the minor and major leagues.
Sandy Ambrose makes a one-hand catch.
In 1962, Jackie Robinson became the first African American inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. His pioneering achievements, both on and off the field, broke down racial barriers and helped awaken America's conscience.
So again, guys, thanks for learning a little bit more about Jackie Robinson with me. If you would like to watch this video or even read more up on him, you can visit history.com. And he's actually on the front page right now going through the cycle, so that's pretty exciting. And the video is by Evan Andrews, so it's really cool just to see and learn more about Jackie Robinson. My homeboy. That's what I'm just going to keep saying. My man, Jackie. So we are actually going to drop some tunes real quick and then come back with some world news before we close out this lovely, lovely hour. So make sure you stay tuned here on WSU Radio 93.7 FM, your fire station. Mission Minded with Ari Woods is taking place. Alrighty, and that was Deeper by SU Worship, which is off of their new album For This Purpose. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check out this new album, it is available on iTunes for $10, or you can also go into the bookstore if you're a local here in Lakeland on SU's campus and purchase it for $10. If you purchase the hard copy, there is 2 discs in here, which is kind of fun. It's a really awesome looking album and lots of fun songs on here with over 5 features on different songs. So that's really interesting. And then they have bonus material on the 2 disc if you pick it up here at SCU. So that's, again, SU Worship, which is our campus's worship team. And that is For This Purpose. So as we wind down here, we're going to go ahead and hit off with some news. But before we go into world news, I did want to talk about some campus news for people who are around town. TNL auditions are happening soon. Actually, they're happening today. No, not today. Yes, today. Today and tomorrow. So before I dive into audition information, what is TNL? TNL is Thursday Night Live. So it's SCU's or Southeastern's rendition of Saturday Night Live with comedy, school comedy, jokes around campus, jokes around, just who we are. And it's all fun and games. And it's really a good time to just go watch people do fun things. But they are holding auditions today and tomorrow. So that'll be fun. You will not see me at those auditions because I'm not funny. No, it's just not going to happen. But if you are funny, please check it out. Today they'll be happening in S107 at 6 to 9 p.m. Same time tomorrow, S107, 6 to 9 p.m. So students who want to audition can sign up for auditions in the DSC office, which is in room U223 until today. Just kidding. If you didn't sign up today, then you probably should. Those auditioning are asked to prepare their best SU-inspired skits or videos. And then you can also audition to be the host. So, and if it's a pretty live event, Thursday Night Live. See, I'm trying to be funny. Maybe I should go audition. No, totally not going to. But it's a pretty cool event, and it's really fun how they have things set up and different skits, and people do different dances and parodies of things. So it's loads and loads of fun. So if you are interested and you think you're a lot funnier than me, then you're probably a lot better off. So please go audition tonight in S107, 6 to 9 p.m. Can't make it tonight, tomorrow, same place, same time. So I'm looking at the weather right now, and it's looking pretty sad. We've got, we have only got like 15% participation. It's going to rain, but it's not going to rain. I don't think it's going to rain, but it is pretty muggy outside. So, I mean, it is Florida, so this could change on a dime. So carry an umbrella. I actually went with the station manager to grab lunch, and we took an umbrella just in case, because you never know. It's Florida. So today it's looking just cloudy for the most part. Lots of humidity, ladies. Don't straighten your hair. And then tomorrow is where we see 100% chance of rain, according to Google. So definitely rain boots and umbrellas will be needed. But diving into world news today, I actually found something that I found shocking, because you don't hear about this stuff on the news, but chocolate maker Mars has ordered a recall of chocolate products in 55 countries. 55 countries. And if you don't know, the chocolate maker Mars, they also make Snickers. So, dun dun dun. Just totally kidding, because they didn't make any recalls in America, which is kind of funny. Out of 55 countries, no recalls here. But I'm going to go ahead and go into the story just in case you're wondering about your favorite Snicker bars, because you're not yourself when you're hungry. In the UK, the products affected include fun-size Mars and Milky Way bars and boxes of Celebrations, including Snickers. In the Netherlands, Mars and Snicker bars were also affected. It comes after a customer in Germany found bits of plastic in a Snicker bar in January. So just imagine you are just eating your Snicker bar and plastic. Now, I've done this with Starburst, since it's Starbucks. Starburst before, I've accidentally didn't get all the paper off and eaten the paper, but this plastic was embedded into the Milky Way or any other Mars company bar. And the plastic was tracked back to the Mars factory in the southern town of Veghel in the Netherlands. A spokesperson for Mars said the recall only involved products manufactured at the Dutch plant. The recall covers mostly countries in Europe and does not extend to the U.S. Praise Jesus. So all my friends who aren't themselves when they're hungry, go get your Snicker bars, stop being moody, get out of your feelings, get your life together, and be happy that there's no plastic in it. The company has not said how many bars are affected or how much the recall costs will be. The food giant said it has decided to voluntarily recall some products as a precaution. So, just a little world news in the chocolate part of the world. I just thought it was funny because you don't hear much about chocolate. Usually you hear about cars being recalled a lot, but here we have some chocolate problems. Also, there's some water problems occurring in India. Water supply has been partially restored in India capital Delhi, where up to 10 million were affected after prosecutors sabotaged a key canal. The army took control of the Munich Canal in neighboring Haryana state on Monday after Jat community members, angry at caste job quotas, damaged it. The water minister Kapil Mirash said the crisis was still not over and urged people to use water carefully. The city's schools, which were closed because of the crisis, have reopened. 16 million people now have this water. So all these people were affected by not having water, which is crazy. Mr. Mishar tweeted on Tuesday morning that some water has been released from the canal. This has led to the restoration of partial supplies in north and central Delhi. He said officials said water tankers had made 1,205 trips by 1 p.m. and that it should rise to 2,000 by the end of the day. They said partial supplies will hopefully be restored by Tuesday evening. The supply will be limited till that time. The Munich Canal is totally repaired. The crisis is not yet over. People should use water carefully. So again, something that we can take for granted is water. Definitely, I don't think twice about, turning on my faucet and no water coming out, or going to the water fountain and no water coming out. And in India, all of these people were affected by not having water, which is extremely, extremely crazy. So that is it for your world news. And that pretty much wraps up Mission Minded today. So I do hope that you enjoyed it. So if you are just now tuning in, shame on you. You have missed so much information going on. We had Andrea talking about her medical destination trips. We had meeting Jackie Robinson for Culture Chat, celebrating Black History Month, and then recall on Mars bars and lack of water in India. But you can always catch us again Monday and Wednesday, 10 to 11. We're going to go back into some music. Have a fabulous week, everyone. This has been Aria Woods on WSU 93.7 FM and